on, thrice valiant countrymen, but all's not done. Yet keep the French the field.
The Duke of York, commends him to your majesty.
Lives he, good uncle? Thrice within this hour I saw him down, thrice up again in fighting. From helmet to spur all blood he was.
In which array, brave soldier doth he lie, larding the plain. And by his bloody side, yoke fellow to his honor-owing wounds, the noble Earl of Suffolk also lies. Suffolk first died, and York, all haggled over, comes to him, where in gore he lay ensteeped, takes him by the beard, kisses the gashes that bloodily did yawn upon his face, and cries aloud, "Tarry, dear cousin Suffolk, my soul shall thine keep company to heaven. Tarry, sweet soul, from mine, and then fly abreast, as we, in this glorious and well-foughten field, kept together in our chivalry." Upon these words I came and cheered him up. He smiled me in the face, wrought me his hand, and with a feeble grip, says, "Dear my lord, commend my service to my majesty." And so did he turn, and over Suffolk's neck he threw his wounded arm, and kissed his lips, and so espoused to death, with blood he sealed a testament of noble ending love. The pretty and sweet manner of it forced those waters from me which I would have stopped. But I had not so much of man in me, and all my mother came into my eyes and gave me up to tears.
I blame you not. For hearing this, I must perforce compound with misful eyes too, or they will issue too. But hark, what new alarm is this same? The French have reinforced their scattered men. Then every soldier kill his prisoners. Give the word through. Kill the prisoners!
Kill the poison, the luggage. 'Tis expressly against the law of arms. 'Tis as errant a piece of knavery as can be offered in your conscience now, is it not?
'Tis certain there's not a boy left alive, and the cowardly rascals that ran from the battle had done this slaughter. Besides, they have burned and carried off all that was in the king's tent. Wherefore, the king most worthily caused every soldier to cut his prisoner's throat. 'Tis a gallant king.
Die, he was born at Monmouth, Captain Gower. What call you the town's name where Alexander the Pig was born?
Alexander the Great?
Why is not pig great? The pig or the great or the mighty or the huge or the magnanimous? It is all one reckoning, say the phrase is a little variations.
Alexander the Great was born in Macedon. His father was called Philip of Macedon, as I take it.
I think it is in Macedon where Alexander is born. I tell you, Captain, if you look into the maps of the world, I warrant you shall find that in the comparisons between Macedon and Monmouth, the situations is both alike. There is a river in Macedon, and there is also, moreover, a river in Monmouth. It is called Wye in Monmouth, but it is out of my brain, so what is the name of the other river? But 'tis all one, 'tis as alike as my fingers is to my fingers, and there is salmons in both. If you mark Alexander's life well, Harry Monmouth's life is come after it indifferent well, for there is figures in all things. Alexander, God knows, and you know, in his rages and his furies and his wraths and his colours and his moods and his displeasures and his indignations, and also being a little intoxicated in his praise, did in his ales and his angers kill, look you, his friend Cletus.
Oh, our king is not like him in that. He never killed any of his friends.
It is not well done, mark you now, to take the tales out of my mouth ere it is made and finished. I speak but in the figures and comparisons of it. As Alexander killed his friend, being in his ales in his cups, so also Harry Monmouth, being in his right wits, and good judgments turned away. The fat knight with the great pelly doublet, he was full of the jests and jibes and knaveries and mocks. I have forgot his name.
Sir John Falstaff.
That is he. I tell you, Captain, there is good men born in Monmouth.
I was not angry since I came to France until this instant. Take a trumpet, Gower. Ride down to the horsemen on yon hill. If they will fight with us, bid them come down or void the field. They do offend our sight.
Here comes the herald of the French, my liege.
His odds are humbler than they used to be.
How now, what means this, herald? Knowest thou not that I have fined these bones of mine for ransom? Comest thou again for ransom?
No. Great King, I come to thee for charitable license, that we may wander over this bloody field to look our dead and to bury them, to sort our common from our noble men, for so many of our princes, oh, the while lie drowned and soaked in mercenary blood. And so, too, our peasants dredge their vulgar limbs in the blood of our princes, and their wounded steeds, fed fretlocked deep in gore, yerk out their armed heels at thy masters, killing them twice. O great King, give us leave to wander over this field and dispose of their bodies.
I tell thee truly, herald, I know not if the day be ours or no.
It is yours.
Praise be God and not our strength for it. What is this castle called that stands hard by?
They call it Agincourt.
Then call we this the field of Agincourt, fought on the day of Crispin Crispianus.
Your grandfather of famous memory and please your grace, and your great uncle Edward the Black Prince of Wales, as I have read in the chronicles, fought a most brave battle here in France.
They did, Fluellen.
Your Majesty says very true. If your Majesty is remembered of it, the Welshmen did good service in a garden where leeks did grow. And I do believe your Majesty takes no scorn to wear the leek upon St. Tothy's Day.
I wear it for memorable honor, for I am Welsh. You know my countrymen.
Though the water in Wye cannot wash your Majesty's Welsh blood out of your body, I can tell you that God bless it and preserve it as long as it pleases His Grace and His Majesty too.
I thank you, good my countrymen.
By Jesu, I am your Majesty countryman. I care not who knows it, so long as your Majesty is an honest man.
God keep me so. Call yonder fellow hither.
Soldier, you must to the king.
Soldier, why wearest thou that glove in thy cap?
Please your Majesty, 'tis the gage of one that I should fight withal, if he be alive.
An Englishman.
Please your Majesty, it was rascal that swaggered with me last night, who, if alive and ever dared to challenge this glove, I've sworn to take from him a box on the ear. Or if I can see my glove in this cap, which he swore as he was a soldier he will wear if he lived, I should strike it soundly.
What think you, Captain? Is it fit this soldier keep his oath?
He is a craven and a villain else, and please your Majesty, in my conscience.
It could be that his enemy is a gentleman of great sort, quite from the answer of his degree.
Though he be as good a gentleman as the devil is, as Lucifer and Beelzebub himself, it is necessary that he keep his vow.
Then keep thy vow, sirrah, when thou meetest the fellow.
So I will, your Majesty, as I live.
Whose service thou under?
Under Captain Gower, your Majesty.
Gower is a good captain and is good knowledge and literature in the wars.
I pray thee, go and bring him hither.
I will, your Majesty.
Here, Fluellen, wear thou this favor for me and stick it in thy cap. If any man challenge this, he is a friend to Alençon and an enemy to our person. If thou encounter any such, apprehend him, and thou dost me love.
Your Majesty does me as great honors as can be desired in the hearts of his subjects. I would fain see the man that has but 2 legs that shall find himself aggrieved at his glove, that is all. But I would fain see it for once, and please God of his grace that I might see.
Knowest thou Gower?
He is my dear friend, and please you.
I pray thee, go and seek him and bring him to my tent.
I will fetch him.
My lord of Warwick, my brother Gausa. Follow Fluellen closely at the heels. The glove which I have given him for a favor may happily purchase him a box on the air. It's the soldiers. I buy bargains and wear it myself, as if I judge by his blunt bearing, he may strike the fellow, some sudden mischief may arise of it. Go and follow, see there be no harm between them. Come, go you with me, Uncle Exeter.
My word, it is tonight, you captain!
God's will and his pleasure, Captain. I pray you now come apace to the king. There is more good towards you than peradventure is in your knowledge to dream of.
Why, sir, know you this glove?
The glove. I know the glove is a glove.
I know this. And thus, I challenge it.
As errant a traitor as any in the universal world, or in France, or in England.
How now, sir, you villains!
Stand
be forsworn?
away, Captain Gower. I will give treason his payment in blows, I warrant you.
I'm no traitor.
That's a lie in thy throat. I charge you in the king's name, apprehend him. He's a friend of the Duke Alençon.
How now? What's the matter here?
My Lord of Warwick, here is God be praised for it. A most contagious treason come to light, as look you shall see in a summer's day. But here is his majesty.
Oh now, what's the matter?
My liege, here is a villain and a traitor, which, look your grace, has struck the glove which your majesty is take out of the helmet of Alençon.
Your majesty, this is my glove, and that there's the fellow of it, and he that I give it to in change promised to wear it in his cap, and I promised to strike him if he did. I met this man with my glove in his cap, and I've been as good as my word.
Your majesty here now, saving your majesty's manhood. What an errant, rascally, beggarly, lousy knave it is!
Soldier, give me thy glove. Here is the fellow of it. 'Twas I indeed thou threatened to strike, and thou hast given me most bitter terms.
Let his neck answer for it, if there is any martial law in the world.
How canst thou make me satisfaction?
I meant no offense, my lord. Never came any of mine that might offend your majesty.
It was ourself thou didst abuse.
You came not like yourself. You came me as but a common man. Witness the night, your garments, your loveliness, and what your majesty suffered under that disguise. I pray you take it for your own offense and not mine. For henchman as I took you for, I meant no offense, my lord, therefore I pray you pardon me.
Fill this glove with crowns, Uncle Exeter, and give it there to this fellow. Keep it, fellow, and wear it for an honor in thy cap until I do challenge it. Give him the crowns. Captain, you must needs be friends with him.
By this day and this light, the fellow has metal enough in his belly. Hold. Here is 12 pence for you. And I pray you to serve God and keep you out of prowls and trebles and quarrels and dissensions, and I warrant you it is the better for you.
I'll have none of your money.
It is with a good will, I can tell you. It will serve you to mend your shoes. Come, wherefore should you be so bashful? Your shoes is not so good. 'Tis a good shilling, I warrant you, or I will change it.
Here's the number of the slaughtered French, my liege.
What prisoners of good sort are taken, uncle?
Charles, Duke of Orleans, nephew to the king. John, Duke of Bourbon, and Lord Boucicaut. Of other lords and barons, knights and squires, full 1,500 besides common men.
This note doth tell me of 10,000 French that in the field lie slain. Of princes in this number and nobles bearing banners, there lie dead 126. Added to these of knights, esquires, and gallant gentlemen, 8,400. The names of those their nobles that lie dead: Charles Delabreth, High Constable of France; Jacques of Chatillon, Admiral of France; the Master of the Crossbows, Lord Ramburus, and Edward, Duke of Bar; of lusty Earls, Grand Pre, and Roussy, Fauconberg, and Faub, Beaumont, and Mar, Vaudemont, and Lestrau. Here was a royal fellowship of death. Where's the number of our English dead? Edward the Duke of York, the Earl of Suffolk, Sir Richard Ketley, Davy Gam, Esquire. None else of name, and of all other men but 25. Oh God, thy arm was here, and to thy arm alone ascribe we all. Take it, God, for it is none but thine.
'Tis wonderful.
Come, go we in procession to the village where it be death proclaimed through our host, to boast of this, or to take the glory from God, which is his only.
Is it not lawful and please your majesty to tell how many is killed?
Yes, Captain, but with this acknowledgement, that God fought for us.
Yes, my conscience, he did us great good.
Do we all holy rites? Let there be some nobis and te deum, the dead with charity enclosed in clay, and then to Calais, and then to England, where ne'er from France arrive more happy men.